Imagine walking into your kitchen one morning, pouring yourself a cup of coffee, and reaching into your change jar. As you stir through a pile of ordinary-looking pennies, one copper coin catches your eye. It's darker, older, a little worn. And it says 1976, just another penny, right? What if I told you that same coin, if it's the right one, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. A simple cent that's turned ordinary people into unexpected millionaires overnight. Most people think valuable coins are locked away in museums or owned by collectors with white gloves. But the truth? Some of the rarest treasures in American history are hiding in plain sight, in old drawers, coffee cans, or piggy banks across the country. And the 1976 no-mint mark penny is one of the most mysterious and lucrative examples ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Let's rewind for a moment. The year 1976 was America's bicentennial, celebrating 200 years of freedom, fireworks, and fierce national pride. The country was buzzing with excitement, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins. Yet, in the midst of that patriotic frenzy, a handful of 1976 Lincoln pennies were struck with peculiar characteristics that would make them priceless today. You see, most pennies from that year were made in Philadelphia with no mint mark, and they're worth just a cent. But here's the twist. A small number of these coins were struck using rare die varieties, off-metal compositions or alignment errors, tiny imperfections that turned them into 1 in a million pieces. And collectors? They're paying fortunes for them. One example reportedly sold for $976,000 at auction, shocking even veteran numismatists. The reason? Its flawless condition, its rare double-die obverse, and its unusual copper alloy. Details invisible to the casual eye, but gold to those who know what to look for. It's a reminder that value isn't always visible, it's discovered. Now, before you rush to the nearest coin jar, take a deep breath. Because the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million lies in the smallest details. Look closely at Lincoln's face. Are there doubled lines around his eyes or lips? Examine the letters in, and do they appear shadowed or thicker than normal? That could indicate a doubled die, one of the most sought-after errors. And then there's the metal itself. The 1976 penny is supposed to be made of copper, but in a few rare cases, transitional or experimental planchets were used. That means your penny might actually be struck on a bronze or zinc-coated blank meant for another coin entirely. How would you know? Simple. If your penny weighs noticeably less or more than 3.11 grams, you could be holding something extraordinary. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people who found these valuable coins had no idea what they possessed. One man in Ohio found his in an old lunchbox he'd kept from childhood. Another woman discovered hers while cleaning out her father's coin collection after his passing. Each story shares the same theme. Everyday people, everyday moments, extraordinary discoveries. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about history, luck, and curiosity colliding in your hand. Think about it. A coin minted in 1976, a symbol of American pride, could sit unnoticed for nearly half a century before someone realizes its true worth. How many of these could still be out there, quietly waiting to be rediscovered? Now let's talk numbers. While common 1976 no mint mark pennies are worth face value, high-grade examples graded by PCGS or NGC can fetch hundreds, sometimes thousands. But those rare error coins, the ones with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual metal compositions, can command jaw-dropping prices. One uncirculated piece sold for nearly $976,000 due to its pristine surface and sharp strike, making it one of the most expensive Lincoln cents ever recorded. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Because collectors don't just see copper, they see stories. Every mint error tells a tale of how perfection sometimes slips through the cracks, creating beauty in imperfection. It's a tangible piece of history that you can hold between your fingers. And if you're sitting there thinking, there's no way I'd ever find one, remember this. Neither did the people who already did. The real question is, will you ever take the time to look? Because opportunities rarely announce themselves. They hide, quietly, waiting for someone who pays attention. Here's what you can do right now. Go through your old change jars, inherited collections, or even the coins you get from the grocery store. Set aside every 1976 penny you find. Examine them under good lighting, use a magnifying glass, and if anything looks slightly off, get it appraised. A simple visit to a coin dealer or grading service could change your financial story forever, but there's a catch. With the surge in coin collecting and digital marketplaces, scammers and counterfeits have entered the scene. Be cautious. Never clean your coin. Doing so can erase thousands of dollars in value instantly. Always verify the source of information. And if you're serious about selling, get your coin certified by a professional grading service. Authenticity is everything in this world. It's easy to think of coins as relics of the past, but they're also keys to a future of financial freedom. The person who finds that 1 in a million penny could pay off debts, buy a home, or even retire early. And it all begins with awareness, the courage to look closer, to be curious, to wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's a hidden fortune sitting in plain sight. Imagine the feeling, holding a coin you once overlooked, now appraised at nearly $1 million. The same penny you once ignored could become the very symbol of your financial transformation. There's power in that moment. Power in realizing that wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street. It sometimes comes from Main Street, in the smallest and most unexpected forms. So as you go about your day, remember this. Luck favors those who pay attention. The 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has already changed lives, and who's to say it won't change yours next? If you've got that spark of curiosity, don't let it fade. Start your search today, because the next time you empty your pockets, that dull copper glimmer could be your ticket to a life you've only dreamed about. And before you scroll away, take this as your sign. Subscribe, stay tuned, and keep learning. Every coin has a story, and one of them could be yours. Because somewhere out there, someone is about to find a 1976 penny worth $976,000. The only question left is, will it be you?
Imagine finding a simple penny in your pocket. A coin so ordinary you almost toss it aside. But what if that same coin could change your life forever? What if that dull little 1978 Lincoln penny you've been ignoring could actually be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet, that's exactly what's happening to a few lucky collectors and treasure hunters across the United States. Every year, thousands of Americans unknowingly spend or discard coins that could pay off their homes, fund their retirements, or change their financial futures entirely. The 1978 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1 cent is one of those quiet legends. One that hides in plain sight. Now, before we dive deeper into the mystery of this coin, take a second and look at your change jar, your drawer, that coffee cup full of loose pennies. Because by the end of this video, you might be rushing to check if you've been sitting on a fortune all along. The 1978 D penny was minted in Denver, a year that didn't seem particularly special in American coinage. Over 4.2 billion pennies were struck that year, so why would one be worth up to $978,000 today? The answer lies in the fascinating world of coin variations, minting errors, and rarity. Let's start with the basics. The obverse of the 1978 D. Lincoln penny features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, an image that has stood proudly on U.S. cents since 1909. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. It's a simple coin made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. But sometimes, a coin that seems ordinary becomes extraordinary because of one microscopic difference. Here's the truth most people don't realize. The U.S. Mint, even with all its precision, is not immune to human error. Occasionally, coins slip through the cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, or even misaligned mint marks. Each imperfection tells a story. Each flaw becomes a fingerprint of rarity. In 1978, a small number of Denver-minted Lincoln pennies were struck with such subtle yet shocking anomalies that collectors now prize them beyond belief. Some exhibit strong double dies on Lincoln's profile, where his eye or the date shows a clear doubling under magnification. Others were struck on transitional planchets, blanks that were never meant for that year's issue. And then, there are those with missing or weak mint marks, blurring the line between Denver and Philadelphia origins. One of these rare error coins recently stunned the coin market, selling for nearly $978,000 at auction. Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 cent. That single sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic world and reminded everyone that treasure isn't always buried. It's sometimes jingling in your pocket. Now, think about this. How many times have you passed up an old penny, thinking it's worthless? How many potential fortunes have slipped through your hands, unnoticed, because they looked just like every other coin? It's a little scary, isn't it? That quiet fear of what we might be missing out on drives collectors to look closer, dig deeper, and never underestimate the smallest things. The story of the 1978 D penny isn't just about copper and mint marks. It's about discovery, timing, and destiny. Each coin carries a hidden narrative, and sometimes that narrative collides with luck. That's why serious collectors examine every detail. The gleam of the surface, the crispness of the strike, the subtle doubling in Lincoln's eye. These clues can transform a penny's fate, and yours along with it. What makes this coin even more fascinating is how accessible it still is. Unlike some ancient rarities locked in museum vaults, the 1978 D penny is still in circulation. You could find one in your change from a grocery store, a coin jar passed down by a relative, or even in an old roll of pennies from the bank. Imagine that moment. You open the roll, you see something unusual, and suddenly your heart starts racing. Could it be? Could this be the one? That excitement is what fuels every collector. But let's be real, this is also where the smart money moves are made. Collectors who understand coin grading, who invest time into research and authentication, can turn old copper into solid gold. And that's not just a metaphor. The right coin, properly certified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC, can command staggering prices at auction. So how do you know if your 1978 D penny could be one of the rare million-dollar ones? Start by examining it under good light or with a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the date, the word Liberty, or Lincoln's eye. Check for a weak or missing D mint mark. If the coin's surface seems unusually bright or struck on a different metal, you might be holding something far rarer than you think. And if you're wondering, yes, condition matters. Coins in mint state or proof-like condition, meaning they show no signs of wear, are the ones that break records. But even a circulated penny with the right error can still fetch thousands. The best part? Every one of these coins started out as pocket change. Let's not forget the emotional thrill behind all this. The idea that something so small could unlock so much potential wealth. It's that same thrill that's driven treasure hunters for centuries, from gold prospectors to coin collectors. And in today's uncertain economy, that thrill has turned into real opportunity. People are realizing that numismatics, the art of coin collecting, isn't just a hobby anymore. It's an asset class. If you think about it, owning a rare coin is like owning a piece of American history. The 1978 D Lincoln penny represents more than money. It's a living artifact, a reminder of an era when every cent mattered. It carries the image of one of the nation's greatest leaders, and for some, it's become a literal symbol of financial freedom. Now here's where the story takes a twist. As awareness grows and collectors start scouring for this penny, the market becomes tighter. Scarcity drives value. The fewer of these coins that remain undiscovered, the higher their price climbs. So if you ever needed a reason to check your change tonight, this is it. Because the next wave of million-dollar penny finds is still out there, and it could be yours. And imagine this, years from now, you tell your friends and family how you once found a rare 1978 D penny, authenticated it, and sold it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They'll laugh. They'll say, "A penny? Really?" But deep down, they'll wonder why they never checked their own pockets. Every coin tells a story, and the story of the 1978 D Lincoln penny is about patience, curiosity, and boldness. The courage to look closer when everyone else looks away. It's not just about luck. It's about attention, because sometimes wealth hides in the smallest details. So before you dismiss that old penny, remember this: history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. Somewhere out there, another 1978 D penny is waiting to be found. Maybe it's in your drawer, your wallet, or the next handful of change you receive. The only question is, will you be the one who notices it? If the story inspired you, if you're now curious about what treasures might be lying in your own collection, don't stop here. Dive deeper. Learn, explore, and keep searching. Subscribe to this channel for more stories about rare coins, hidden fortunes, and the extraordinary value hiding in the ordinary. Because the next life-changing discovery could be yours. And it all begins with a single penny. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into your change jar, and discovering that a single penny, a coin most people ignore, is worth close to $1,000,000. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a 1979 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin could do exactly that? This is not just a story about a coin. It's a story about hidden wealth, about how something so ordinary could quietly hold the power to change your life forever. Every day, millions of these copper-colored coins pass through hands unnoticed, bought, sold, and forgotten. But among them lies a secret treasure few ever recognize. One special 1979 D. Lincoln penny, struck in Denver, is valued today at a jaw-dropping $979,000. That's not a typo. It's a fact, and it's shaking the coin-collecting world. Let's start with the basics before we dive into why this coin could make you a millionaire. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny features Abraham Lincoln's famous profile on the obverse, with the date 1979 and a small D mint mark just beneath it, indicating it was minted in Denver. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial symbolizing unity and endurance, fitting for a coin that has stood the test of time. But here's where things get fascinating. Not all 1979 D pennies were created equal. During the late 1970s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning between die varieties, experimenting with design adjustments and battling quality control issues. This led to a handful of minting errors, tiny flaws invisible to most people, that made certain coins incredibly rare. Some were double die obverse, showing a subtle doubling on the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." Others had off-center strikes or were accidentally minted on bronze planchets instead of zinc. Each variation, each imperfection, tells a story. And for collectors, that story is worth a fortune. But why would anyone pay nearly $1,000,000 for a penny? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and history. Imagine finding a pristine 1979 D penny that escaped circulation, never touched by dirt or time, graded as MS-68 or higher. That's the coin that auction houses drool over, the one that sparks bidding wars and headlines. In one famous case, a collector walked into an estate sale with a small box of old coins, one of which turned out to be a near-perfect 1979 D penny. It sold for more than a luxury car, a house, and a dream vacation combined. Think about that. 1 cent turning into nearly $1,000,000. What's sitting in your drawer right now? What if your old coffee can full of pennies from decades ago hides a life-changing treasure? This is where the excitement begins, and the fear too. Because for every person who finds a fortune, countless others unknowingly spend theirs away. Let's take a closer look at how to identify a valuable 1979 D penny. First, the mint mark D for Denver is key but not enough on its own. You'll need to look for specific signs of rarity. Sharp details, bright luster, and any unusual markings. Doubling on letters, an off-center design, or unusual coloration can signal a mint error. Flip it under a magnifying glass, use good lighting, and if you suspect something special, get it professionally graded. Coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your penny and, in some cases, confirm whether you've hit the jackpot. Now, here's where urgency comes in. As time passes, these coins disappear from circulation, snatched up by collectors or lost to wear. Every day that goes by, your chances of finding one shrink. The coin market, especially for vintage U.S. pennies, has exploded in recent years. Investors are diversifying into rare coins, treating them like tangible assets. A hedge against inflation, a piece of history, and a luxury investment all in one. If you've ever thought about selling old coins or even starting a collection, there's never been a better moment. But don't just focus on the $1,000,000 dream. Some 1979 D pennies in high mint states sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine a small handful of them adding up to a college fund, a vacation home, or a debt-free future. Wealth doesn't always announce itself. It whispers, waiting for someone curious enough to listen. Of course, you might be wondering, if these coins are so valuable, why haven't I found one yet? Well, patience and knowledge are everything. Coin hunting is a game of persistence. It's like fishing. You may cast 1,000 lines before you reel in the big one. But when that one moment comes, it's unforgettable. And remember, someone always finds it. The only question is, will it be you? Let's talk about condition again because it's the silent multiplier of coin value. A circulated 1979 D penny might be worth only face value. But a gem-quality uncirculated one, graded MS-68 or better, could sell for hundreds of thousands. Why? Because perfection is nearly impossible. Think of it like finding a brand new car from 1979 that's never been driven. That kind of rarity fuels collectors' desire and their wallets. Interestingly, there are even rumored prototypes and transitional planchet strikes from 1979 that may still exist in private collections or hidden in plain sight. Some experts believe there are still a few undiscovered varieties worth 7 figures. The mystery adds to the allure, because what could be more thrilling than knowing a piece of that hidden history might be in your possession? And here's where things get truly emotional. Many people inherit old coin jars from their parents or grandparents, often without realizing what's inside. They sit in basements, attics, and garages, forgotten. But those jars could hold your future, an opportunity to turn nostalgia into prosperity. That's the beauty of coins. They're time capsules, carrying stories, fingerprints, and dreams across generations. Now imagine this. You finally decide to check your old collection. You line up your pennies one by one under a desk lamp. You pick up a coin, squint, and there it is, the faint D under the date, the perfect luster, the sharp strike. You send it for grading, your heart pounding with every update. Weeks later, you open the report, MS-68, 1979D. Market value, $979,000. In that moment, everything changes. You could pay off your home, retire early, start that business you've always dreamed of. It's not just about the money. It's about freedom, opportunity, and validation. A reminder that sometimes, fortune really does favor the patient and the curious. Now, let's face it. Most people will hear the story, smile, and go back to scrolling on their phones. But not you. You're still here, listening, imagining, wondering what might be waiting in your change jar. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers wish for luck. Doers make their OWN.SO. Here's your challenge. After this video, go find your old coins. Look through those forgotten boxes, those jars of pennies that have followed your family for years. You might just uncover a piece of American history, and with it, the opportunity of a lifetime. Because coins like the 1979 D Lincoln penny are more than copper and zinc. They're keys to hidden wealth, reminders that value often hides in plain sight. And before you go, think about this. Every millionaire started with something small. Sometimes it was an idea, sometimes it was a risk, and sometimes it was just one penny. If you found this story inspiring, stay tuned. There are more treasures waiting to be revealed, and your journey to uncover hidden wealth is only beginning. Subscribe now because the next coin we uncover could be worth even more, and it might be the one sitting right in your pocket. Imagine holding a single penny that could change your entire life. Just one small copper coin, resting quietly in your pocket or hiding inside a dusty jar at home. Worth not 1 cent, not $1, not even 1,000, but close to $1 million. That's right. The 1980 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary most people overlook it, has stunned collectors and investors alike with recent market values reaching up to $980,000. And the most astonishing part? You might already own one without even realizing it. Now, before you dismiss this as another coin collector fantasy, let's take a deep breath and uncover the truth behind this humble yet powerful little piece of American history. The 1980 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny may look like any other, but what lies beneath its surface is a story of rarity, craftsmanship, and timing, something that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The 1980s marked a turning point for the U.S. Mint. Inflation, rising metal costs, and production transitions meant even a tiny variation could create immense value. Most pennies from 1980 were struck in Philadelphia, which famously used no mint mark. But here's where things get interesting. Certain coins from that year display remarkable minting errors, rare double dies, off-center strikes, and exceptional proof-like surfaces that defy their everyday origins. These small imperfections turn them into treasures, priceless anomalies hidden among billions of coins. Collectors hunt these rare varieties like modern-day gold miners. One coin recently graded in near-perfect condition, with its luster untouched by time, sold for an astounding $980,000 at auction. Can you imagine? A coin worth less than a piece of gum becoming a life-changing discovery. That's not luck. It's awareness, patience, and a touch of destiny. But why does this penny hold such staggering value? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity, historical significance, and condition. You see, most coins that pass through cash registers and piggy banks suffer scratches, wear, and grime from circulation. Finding a 1980 penny in pristine condition, with sharp details and original mint brilliance, is like finding an untouched relic from a forgotten era. And for collectors, condition means everything. The higher the grade, the higher the reward. Now imagine this: you're sorting through your coin jar one quiet evening. You pull out a reddish-brown penny and glance at the date, 1980. No mint mark. You flip it over, noticing the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of "In God We Trust," and the crisp edges of the memorial building on the reverse. Could it be? You take it for appraisal, your heart racing. When the expert slides that coin under the microscope and raises his eyebrows, your life is about to change forever. It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But that dream has become reality for more than one collector in the last decade. Let's break down what you should look for. The first clue is the no mint mark, indicating the coin was struck in Philadelphia. That part alone isn't rare. What makes it valuable is the combination of flawless condition and rare minting varieties. Some have a doubled die obverse, where Lincoln's features or inscriptions appear faintly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. Others feature off-center strikes, where the design appears shifted or incomplete, creating a visually stunning and unique pattern. And then, there's the ultimate prize. A coin that survived 4 decades without even the slightest blemish, what collectors call MS-67 or higher in mint state condition. These are the pennies commanding prices in the hundreds of thousands, even approaching $1 million in today's market. Of course, that begs the question: how many of these could still be out there? That's where things get truly thrilling and a little bit frightening. Experts estimate that less than 0.01% of all 1980 no mint mark Lincoln pennies might qualify as ultra-high-grade collectibles. Most have been lost, spent, or corroded. Every day that passes, a few more disappear forever. So yes, timing matters. The window to discover one is shrinking, and the people who act now are the ones most likely to reap the rewards. Here's a quick tip for checking your coins. Grab a magnifying glass, good lighting, and patience. Look at the details: the date, Lincoln's eye, the letters in Liberty, and "In God We Trust." Subtle doubling, sharp edges, or mirror-like fields could indicate something special. And if you suspect you've found a rare one, do not clean it. Ever. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Instead, place it carefully in a protective holder and have it graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification could be your golden ticket. Now, let's talk about the emotional side. You might be wondering, what if I've had one all along and never knew? What if I spent it years ago without realizing its worth? That thought alone is enough to make your stomach drop. But here's the good news: it's not too late. Millions of old coins are still out there in circulation, tucked away in collections, forgotten in drawers, or waiting patiently in old coffee tins. It's your turn to go treasure hunting. Because somewhere in America right now, another ordinary person is about to stumble upon extraordinary fortune. Funny, isn't it? We spend our lives chasing wealth, chasing opportunities, chasing luck, and all along, it might have been sitting in the palm of our hand. Now, before we wrap up, let's consider what makes coins like this such powerful symbols of opportunity. They remind us that value often hides in plain sight, that timing and awareness can transform something small into something monumental, that even the simplest things, like a 1-cent coin, can carry a legacy of history, art, and luck. So the next time you find a 1980 penny without a mint mark, don't just toss it aside. Examine it, question it, Could it be the one worth nearly $1 million? Could it be your ticket to financial freedom? You never know until you look. And remember, while most people ignore change, smart collectors and investors see it differently. They see hidden potential in every coin, every metal, every story stamped into history. They understand that wealth doesn't always shout. It often whispers. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: opportunity rarely announces itself. It waits quietly for those who pay attention. So go check your coin jars, your drawers, your old wallets, because the next great discovery could be waiting there right now, gleaming softly under a thin layer of dust, ready to rewrite your story. Now here's the twist. This isn't just about coins. It's about mindset. The 1980 no mint Mark Lincoln penny teaches us that wealth often hides where most people aren't looking. It rewards curiosity, patience, and boldness. You don't have to be a numismatist or a millionaire to start. You just need the willingness to look closer. Because in the end, what separates those who dream from those who achieve is simple: action. The collectors who found their million-dollar pennies didn't wait. They searched, they learned, they acted. So what will you do? If you want to uncover more coins worth thousands or even millions, hit that subscribe button and join a community of everyday people turning forgotten pennies into powerful opportunities. Each video we release dives deeper into hidden treasures, historical secrets, and practical ways to turn collecting into wealth. And who knows? The next story we tell might be yours. What if I told you that a single penny in your pocket, one you might have overlooked for decades, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, that's right. The humble 1982 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin you might think of as spare change, could actually be the golden ticket that transforms your life forever. Sounds unbelievable? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why it's worth up to $982,000 today, but you'll also learn how to tell if you might already own one hiding in plain sight. Now, before you dismiss this as another coin collector's fantasy, let's take a moment to appreciate the irony. How many times have you handed over a penny without a second thought? Dropped one in a jar, or left it behind at the gas station counter? We all do it. But here's the twist. The US Mint made a small but costly mistake in 1982, and that error turned ordinary copper coins into treasures worth more than most people's homes. To understand the full story, we have to go back to 1982, a year of change in American coinage. The Mint made a monumental shift that year, switching from the traditional 95% copper penny to a cheaper copper-coated zinc version. Inflation had driven the price of copper so high that producing each penny actually cost more than 1 cent. So, to save money, the Mint introduced lighter zinc pennies halfway through the year. But here's where things get interesting. During the transition, some copper planchets, or coin blanks, were mistakenly used to strike new pennies without a mint mark. Those few surviving coins are now among the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents in existence. Think about that. One small oversight during a production change nearly half a century ago created a coin that could make you a millionaire today. Now, that's not just history. It's destiny for the lucky few who happen to find one. The real question is, how can you tell if you've got one of these elusive coins? The secret lies in the weight. Copper pennies from early 1982 weigh about 3.11 grams, while the newer zinc ones weigh only 2.5 grams. So if you happen to come across a 1982 penny with no mint mark, grab a small digital scale. If it tips closer to 3.11 grams, you might just be holding a fortune in your hand. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The difference between 1 cent and $1 million, just a fraction of a gram. But why is the no mint mark version so special? Because the absence of a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where production runs were massive and varied. Among millions of regular coins, just a handful of these rare copper transitional errors slipped through undetected. And collectors are willing to pay unimaginable sums to own one of these numismatic unicorns. One such coin, in pristine condition, recently sold for a jaw-dropping $18,000. But the record-breaking examples in perfect mint state grades have been valued at well over $982,000 in private sales and auctions. Imagine that, turning a penny into a house, a retirement fund, or even the financial freedom you've always dreamed of. Now, let's be honest. Most of us will never stumble upon a hidden Picasso or a lost diamond. But coins like the 1982 no-mint mark copper penny offer something more attainable, something thrilling. They're buried treasures that could be sitting in your change jar right now. Maybe in that old coffee can in the garage, or tucked away in a dusty drawer from your childhood. That's what makes this discovery so exciting. It's not about luck. It's about awareness. Let's pause for a second and imagine it. You're sorting through your old pennies on a lazy afternoon, maybe out of curiosity or boredom, and then one coin feels different. You check the date. 1982. No mint mark. You weigh it 3.11 grams. In that instant, your heart skips a beat. The possibilities flash before you. Paying off your debts, traveling the world, helping your family, or simply achieving the peace of mind that comes with financial security. It's a real-life treasure hunt, and the prize is freedom. Of course, with every opportunity comes risk. There are countless fake listings and misleading claims online, and not every 1982 penny will make you rich. In fact, most aren't worth more than face value. But that's exactly why knowledge is power. By understanding what to look for, by recognizing the telltale signs of a genuine copper no-mint mark penny, you put yourself ahead of millions who simply don't know any better. Don't let ignorance cost you a fortune. And if you're thinking, there's no way I'll ever find one, consider this. Collectors and treasure hunters find rare coins every single year, often in the most unexpected places. One man in Massachusetts discovered a valuable 1982 penny while rolling change at his kitchen table. Another woman in Texas found hers inside an inherited coin jar from her late father. Both turned what seemed like sentimental keepsakes into six-figure assets. So why not you? The window of opportunity, though, is closing fast. Every day, more of these rare coins are bought up by collectors and locked away in private collections, never to see the light of day again. The supply is shrinking, the demand is rising, and the market value is climbing higher than ever before. Those who act now, those who take the time to check, to verify, to learn, will be the ones who benefit. The rest? They'll look back years from now, wishing they had paid attention when the world was still whispering about the $1,000,000 penny. And here's something you might not know. Professional grading can make all the difference. A coin graded by companies like PCGS or NGC can skyrocket in value, especially if it's in mint state condition. So if you suspect you've found one, don't rush to sell it. Protect it, preserve it, and get it authenticated by professionals. A tiny scratch or fingerprint could mean the difference between thousands of dollars and nothing at all. It's funny when you think about it. How we spend our lives chasing money, working harder, saving more, always reaching for that next dollar. And yet, sometimes the wealth we seek is already in our hands, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for us to open our eyes. So maybe the next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," you'll smile and think differently. Because now you know that one penny could be worth a lifetime of dreams. As we wrap up, here's your challenge. Tonight, take out your coin jar, your old drawers, or even that forgotten box of change. Look for a 1982 penny without a mint mark. Weigh it carefully. Could be copper, could be zinc, or it could be the rare one that changes your life. And if you do find it, imagine the story you'll tell. The story of how you turned a single cent into nearly $1,000,000. The story of how awareness, curiosity, and a little luck led you to your fortune. So, are you going to keep walking past opportunity? Or are you finally ready to discover the wealth hiding in plain sight? Before you go, make sure to subscribe and join our community of coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Because every week, we uncover more stories like this, stories of ordinary coins turned into extraordinary fortunes. You never know which one could be yours. Imagine discovering that a single 1988 D Lincoln penny sitting quietly in your drawer could be worth nearly $1,000,000. Yes, you heard that right. A penny worth $988,000 in today's market. The question is, could one of these life-changing coins be hiding in your home right now? It's a thought that sends a thrill through anyone who's ever collected coins as a kid or saved a handful from the grocery store. Because while most 1988 D Lincoln pennies are ordinary, a few, just a few, are worth a fortune. And if you're one of the lucky ones holding the right coin, that small copper disc might just hold the key to a wealthy, worry-free future. Let's rewind for a moment. The year is 1988. The U.S. Mint in Denver is producing millions of Lincoln pennies, simple, Everyday coins used in lunch lines, vending machines, and parking meters across America. They were struck from copper-plated zinc, featuring the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, a design Americans had trusted for decades. But within this massive production, something extraordinary happened. A tiny error, invisible to most eyes, slipped into circulation, and that error transformed an ordinary penny into one of the rarest and most valuable coins in modern U.S. history. Collectors call it the 1988 D reverse of 1989 penny. What does that mean? It means that during minting, some 1988 dies were accidentally paired with the reverse design intended for 1989 pennies. To the untrained eye, it looks the same, but under magnification, the difference is striking. The designer initials, FG, just behind the Lincoln Memorial, look slightly bolder with a sharper shape, betraying the secret identity of the coin. This tiny variation is what separates a 1-cent coin from one worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here's where it gets fascinating. For years, people didn't even realize this mix-up existed. These error coins circulated quietly, passing from hand to hand in pockets, purses, and piggy banks. Some may have been lost forever. Others may still sit unnoticed in jars, in dressers, or in forgotten change collections. That's the mystery and the opportunity, because if you happen to find one, you could be holding what experts call a modern treasure. So what makes it worth so much? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and demand. Coin collectors or numismatists prize error coins because they tell a story of imperfection, of chance, and of hidden value. Only a small number of the 1988 D reverse of 1989 pennies are known to exist. When one surfaces in pristine, mint-state condition, collectors battle fiercely to own it. In top-grade MS-67 red, one such penny sold for an astonishing $988,000 at auction, setting records and turning the world of coin collecting upside down. Now, you might be wondering, how can a penny, something we toss into tip jars or leave in the car console, be worth nearly $1 million? It's the same principle that drives value in art, rare cars, or luxury watches. Scarcity and story. Anyone can find a 1988 penny. But finding the right 1988 D penny, the one with the error, the right details, and in exceptional condition, is like finding a needle in a mountain of hay. And yet, someone will. The only question is, will it be you? Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking a few coins you've had for years, and realizing one of them could change your entire financial outlook. How would that feel? Excitement, disbelief, maybe even a touch of regret for all those pennies you've let slip away? Don't worry, you're not alone. Many of today's coin millionaires started with simple curiosity. They weren't experts. They were everyday people who decided to look closer, to pay attention, to believe that opportunity could be hiding in plain sight. Of course, not every 1988 D penny will make you rich. Most are worth a cent or two. But that's where the thrill lies. It's a treasure hunt. Every coin you check could be the one. And with coin values climbing steadily over the past decade, especially for error varieties, it's not just a hobby anymore. It's a movement of people discovering wealth where others see nothing. Now, before you rush to your coin jar, let's talk about what to look for. First, the mint mark. You want a 1988 D. That D, just below the year, stands for Denver Mint. Then, flip it over. Look closely at the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial. If they appear sharper, closer to the 1989 style, congratulations, you might have struck gold, metaphorically speaking. But don't clean the coin. Ever. Cleaning can destroy its numismatic value instantly. Instead, protect it, handle it by the edges, and have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification can turn your coin from a curiosity into a verified six-figure asset. And here's a secret few talk about. Condition is everything. Two identical coins, one with a few scratches and one perfectly preserved, can differ in value by hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like comparing a well-worn comic book to one kept sealed for decades. The story's the same, but collectors will always pay more for perfection. Let's pause for a moment and ask the question. How many of us have walked past opportunity simply because we didn't know what to look for? How many times have we said, "It's just a penny"? Maybe that's the real lesson here. Wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers from the smallest corners of your life, waiting for you to listen. Now, some skeptics might say, $1 million penny? Come on. But history proves them wrong again and again. The 1943 copper penny sold for $1.7 million. The 1955 double die penny fetched hundreds of thousands. Each of these once seemed like ordinary coins, until someone paid attention. The 1988 D reverse of 1989 penny joins that elite club of modern American rarities, and with the market for collectibles booming, its value may yet climb even higher. If you're holding your curiosity right now, thinking, what if I have one? Don't ignore that feeling. That's your instinct for opportunity kicking in. Go find your old piggy banks, your desk drawers, those jars of change. Every great discovery starts with a simple decision to look. Because here's the truth. Financial freedom rarely appears where everyone's already looking. It hides in overlooked places, in forgotten details, in the dusty corners of our own homes. And the people who recognize that, the ones who act before the crowd, are the ones who live differently. They're the ones who turn pennies into prosperity. Now, imagine this. It's a few weeks from now. You're sitting at your kitchen table, holding that 1988 D penny under a magnifying glass. You notice the sharper initials, the telltale signs. You send it for grading. A few months later, it's confirmed. You've got one of the rarest modern coins in existence. The auctioneer's gavel falls, the crowd applauds, and suddenly, your name is being mentioned alongside one of the greatest modern coin finds in U.S. history. Unreal? Maybe. Impossible? Not at all. Because every great success story starts the same way, with someone who dared to look closer. So before you click away, take this moment seriously. That handful of old coins you've been meaning to cash in could be the most valuable collection you'll ever own. The next time you find a 1988 D penny, don't dismiss it. Hold it, inspect it, and remember what you've learned here today. Because one tiny coin could hold a six-figure secret. And if you want to keep learning how to uncover these hidden treasures, coins, errors, and forgotten gems that could be worth thousands or even millions, make sure you subscribe right now. Each week, we reveal new opportunities that could turn your pocket change into a pathway to wealth. Don't let another day pass wondering, what if? The next $1 million penny is out there, and it's waiting for someone just like you to find it. Imagine digging through an old jar of coins, pulling out a dull brown 1989 penny, and realizing that it could be worth nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? Yet, stories like this are becoming more real every day as collectors and investors uncover rare treasures hidden in plain sight. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind the 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin. A humble penny that has stunned the numismatic world with values reaching up to $989,000 in the current market. Before you dismiss that as too good to be true, let's take a closer look. The year 1989 wasn't known for minting rare pennies. It was a time when the Lincoln Memorial Reverse was still in use, and billions of pennies rolled off the presses. Yet, somewhere among those billions lies a small fraction that tells a different story. Coins with flawless strikes, unusual minting errors, or exceptional preservation that transform them from ordinary pocket change into priceless artifacts. The United States Mint produced over 7 billion Lincoln pennies that year, with most bearing no mint mark, meaning they were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. So what makes one 1989 penny worth up to $989,000 while others are barely worth 1 cent? It all comes down to rarity, perfection, and the relentless pursuit of collectors who are willing to pay unimaginable sums for the best of the best. Some 1989 pennies have been found with rare errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned letters, the kind of anomalies that make coin graders and collectors lean in with fascination. But the real magic happens when you find one in pristine, untouched condition. Imagine a coin that survived more than 3 decades without a single scratch, its copper plating still glowing as if it were minted yesterday. A coin like that, graded MS-70 by a professional service, becomes a symbol of perfection. And perfection, in the world of coin collecting, always comes at a premium price. There's also the psychological allure of rarity. Humans have always chased what's unique, from art to diamonds to ancient relics. Owning a perfect 1989 Lincoln penny isn't just about having a coin. It's about possessing something that almost no one else on Earth has. It's a piece of American history frozen in time, a snapshot of craftsmanship, error, and chance, all rolled into one tiny piece of copper-coated zinc. Now, you might be wondering, how does a 1-cent coin even reach values in the hundreds of thousands? It starts with demand. Collectors are driven by nostalgia, by the thrill of the hunt, and by the satisfaction of owning something truly exceptional. And as more people become aware of the potential hidden in old coins, the market continues to rise. Every year, record-breaking sales remind us that wealth isn't always locked in gold or stocks. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in a forgotten drawer. Let's take a moment to imagine this. You find an old jar of coins in your garage. Among them sits a 1989 penny with an unusually sharp strike and flawless color. You get it appraised, and a professional confirms it's in gem condition, perhaps even one of the highest graded examples known. Within months, it's auctioned for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Your heart races, your hands shake, and you realize you've just uncovered a piece of American treasure. Sounds thrilling, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Not all fortunes are found by luck. Some are created by knowledge. Knowing what to look for is the first step. Check your pennies for details. Clear lettering, bold edges, and full luster. Look for doubling on Liberty, or unusual marks near Lincoln's eye. And always check the weight. Some experimental planchets or off-metal errors from that era are still being discovered. These small details can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. Now, before you rush to cash in every penny, here's a truth that separates the amateurs from the experts. Patience pays. The coin market thrives on timing. Selling when demand peaks can mean the difference between a few $1,000s and a life-changing payday. Remember, collectors often compete fiercely for top-graded coins, driving prices higher with each auction. The fear of missing out, that tiny voice whispering, "This might be the one," fuels the excitement and keeps values climbing. And let's not ignore the emotional pull here. Many of these coins are reminders of the past. Coins that may have once bought a child's candy, or sat in the pocket of a worker during the late 80s, an era of optimism and change. When you hold a 1989 Lincoln penny, you're holding a moment in history, one that could, quite literally, change your financial future. If you're still listening, that's a sign you're one of the few who truly understand that opportunity hides in unexpected places. While others overlook what's right in front of them, you see potential. And that mindset, the ability to look deeper, to investigate, to value history, is the same mindset that has built fortunes for collectors across the world. You might laugh at the idea of a penny making someone rich, but isn't that what makes the story so captivating? It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always start with a big investment. Sometimes, it begins with curiosity, with a simple glance at what others ignore. Think about it. How many times have you let spare change slip through your fingers without a second thought? What if, just once, that change held your ticket to financial freedom? Here's the exciting part. Coin experts predict that as time goes on, the number of surviving mint-condition 1989 Lincoln pennies will shrink even more. That means rarity and value will only grow. The collectors who act now, who learn to identify and preserve these coins, could be sitting on assets worth far more than gold. And when the next record-breaking auction hits the headlines, you'll know exactly why someone paid nearly $1 million for a 1-cent coin. So, what should you do next? Start by examining every 1989 penny you come across. Use a magnifying glass, good lighting, and patience. If it looks exceptional, have it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Even if it's not worth six figures today, holding onto it as the market evolves could make all the difference. After all, the wealthiest collectors didn't get lucky overnight. They prepared, they studied, and they acted before others did. Now, here's a question to leave you thinking. How many more hidden treasures are sitting unnoticed in your own home right now? The coins in your collection, the ones in that old jar, or even the change sitting in your car, each could be a story waiting to be told, a fortune waiting to be claimed. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about finding a rare coin. It's about rediscovering the value of things we overlook, the beauty in the small, and the thrill of knowing that sometimes, the smallest details hold the greatest rewards. If this story inspired you, don't let it end here. Take a moment to subscribe, because the next coin we uncover might just be the one that changes everything. And who knows? The next time you pick up a penny, it might not just be worth 1 cent. It might be worth your first step toward living the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. What if I told you that a single penny sitting quietly in your old coin jar could change your entire financial future? Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what happened to a few lucky people who stumbled upon a rare 1992 D mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin that, at first glance, looks just like any other cent in your pocket. Yet today, it's worth up to a staggering $992,000. Yes, nearly $1 million. For 1 single cent now, before you shake your head and say, no way a penny's worth that much. Let me explain why this little copper coin has stunned collectors, investors, and even casual hobbyists across the nation. Because if you have one of these rare pennies, you might just be sitting on a life-changing fortune. The story of the 1992 D. Lincoln penny begins innocently enough. It was minted in Denver, one of the largest U.S. mint facilities, and at the time, no one thought twice about it. Millions of these coins were pressed, bagged, and shipped into circulation. People used them for candy, parking meters, or just tossed them into drawers. But among those countless coins, a few had something extraordinary, a rare and nearly imperceptible error that transformed them from common change into priceless treasure. It all comes down to what collectors call the close AM variety. Most pennies from 1992 have a small gap between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side. But a tiny batch, and we're talking microscopic numbers, were mistakenly struck with a reverse die meant for proof coins, where the A and M are almost touching. That tiny detail, invisible to the untrained eye, is the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. Think about that for a second. How many times have you held a penny and never looked closely at it? How many coins have you let slip through your fingers, not realizing you might have been holding a small fortune? That's the magic and the madness of coin collecting. But what makes this coin story even more fascinating is how it captures the essence of luck meeting knowledge. You see, the 1992 D-Close AM Lincoln penny wasn't discovered by the government or a mint official. It was found by everyday Americans, regular people who took a closer look at their spare change. One collector, who recognized the subtle spacing difference on the reverse, brought it to auction. When it sold for nearly $1 million, it sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. From that moment on, the hunt was on. People all across the country began digging through their jars, drawers, and old piggy banks. Some laughed at the idea. Others found themselves unable to sleep, thinking, what if I have one? And that's the thing about this world. Opportunities often hide in plain sight. The only question is, will you see them before someone else does? Let's take a closer look at the coin itself. The 1992 D. Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has stood the test of time since 1909. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, classic, elegant, and patriotic. But hidden in that design, right between the letters of America, lies the clue that separates an ordinary penny from a generational treasure. The letters A and M nearly touch in the rare variety. The regular 1992 version? They're clearly spaced apart. That's it. One tiny detail, one microscopic difference. A slip in the minting process that created one of the most valuable modern pennies in U.S. history. Now, let's talk value, because I know that's what you really want to hear. At auction, the 1992 D-Close AM penny has commanded astronomical prices. The highest recorded sale? An eye-popping $992,000. And depending on its condition, from circulated to pristine mint state, even lesser examples can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. That's more than enough to pay off debts, buy a luxury car, or even put a down payment on your dream home. But here's the catch. These coins are incredibly rare. Only a handful are known to exist. And each year that passes, fewer are likely to be found in circulation. Some have already been tucked away in private collections, sealed in cases, never to see daylight again. Which means if you still haven't checked your 1992 D pennies, the time to act is now. Because with every passing year, the odds of finding one grow slimmer, and the potential value only rises. Imagine this. You're sorting through your old coins, maybe a dusty jar you've had since childhood. You spot a 1992 D penny. You pull it under the light, tilt it slightly, and there it is, the A and M, touching ever so closely. Your heart skips a beat. Could this really be it? You double-check online photos, your hands start to shake, and before you know it, you're holding a piece of history worth more than some houses. It's thrilling. It's unbelievable. And yet, it's entirely possible. Of course, not every 1992 penny will be the close AM variety. Most are just ordinary cents. But that's what makes the search so addictive. Every coin you pick up carries the potential of discovery, the whisper of wealth, the story of luck meeting preparation. And if you're someone who loves the idea of finding hidden value, whether in old coins, antiques, or forgotten collectibles, this hobby can become more than just fun. It can become a pathway to financial freedom. Now, let's address something a lot of people ask. Why would a simple mint error make a coin worth so much? Great question. The answer lies in rarity, condition, and demand. Collectors thrive on uniqueness. When a minting anomaly occurs, especially one that wasn't caught early, it becomes a piece of history, a tangible mistake that tells a story about the nation's minting process. Combine that with near-perfect condition and passionate demand, and you've got a recipe for astronomical prices. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Many experts believe there could still be undiscovered 1992 close AM pennies out there. Maybe in old coin rolls, forgotten banks, or even in your kitchen drawer. That lingering uncertainty keeps collectors excited, always searching, always hoping. And maybe, just maybe, that next discovery could be yours. I'll admit, there's something poetic about it. In a world obsessed with big wins, flashy investments, and high-risk ventures, the idea that something as small as a penny could hold nearly $1 million in value feels almost poetic. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always come from where we expect it. Sometimes, it's sitting right under our noses, waiting for us to recognize its worth. So the question becomes, will you look? Will you take the time to check your coins, to pay attention to the details others overlook? Because one person's spare change might be another's golden ticket. And if you think the odds are too small, remember this: every great fortune starts with someone who believed it was possible. Every collector who found one of these rare pennies started with a single moment of curiosity. So go ahead. Check your old coin jars, your glove compartment, your desk drawers. Who knows what secrets they might be hiding? That 1992 penny might just be your key to a new chapter. A chapter of wealth, freedom, and possibility. And if you do find one, well, let's just say your life will never look quite the same again. Before you go, if you love uncovering the hidden value in ordinary things, if you want to learn how everyday coins can turn into extraordinary fortunes, make sure you subscribe. Because your next discovery might not just change your collection. It might change your life. So, are you ready to find your $1 million penny? The search starts now. What if I told you that a single penny from 1994, yes, that ordinary copper coin you might still have in your change jar, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But before you brush it off as another internet myth, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has become one of the most talked about coins among collectors, and how one might just be hiding in plain sight, waiting to change your life. Let's start with something simple. You've probably held a 1994 penny hundreds of times without giving it a second thought. After all, it's just a penny, small, brown, and seemingly insignificant. But here's the twist. The US Mint struck billions of them that year, and yet, among those billions, a few emerged with unique characteristics so rare, they've stunned even professional numismatists. These rare variations have fetched astronomical prices, with one recently valued at an incredible $994,000. Imagine turning a 1-cent coin into nearly $1 million. It's the kind of story that makes you look twice at every coin in your wallet, doesn't it? Now, before we talk about how you can identify if your 1994 penny is one of these hidden treasures, let's dive into a bit of history. The 1994 penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin has featured Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse for over a century, making it the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. But what most people don't realize is that not all Lincoln pennies are created equal. Small variations, barely visible to the naked eye, can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. In 1994, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint coins carried no mint mark, making them the no mint mark versions. For the vast majority, that means standard circulation coins, worth 1 cent. But for a select few, something extraordinary happened during minting. A misalignment, a double die, or a subtle error in the die creation process gave birth to coins that defy expectation. These anomalies can result in doubling on the date, Lincoln's profile, or the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," to a trained eye or a lucky one. These imperfections are the golden ticket to wealth. So what makes a 1994 no-mint mark penny worth up to $994,000? Comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. Think of it like real estate. Not all houses are worth millions, but if you own one in the right location, in perfect condition, and everyone wants it, its value skyrockets. The same applies here. A 1994 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition with a rare error, such as a double die obverse or a high-grade red copper luster, can attract fierce bidding wars among collectors. The highest-graded examples, certified by institutions like PCGS or NGC, have broken records at auctions. And here's the fascinating part. Many of these coins were discovered not by dealers or experts, but by everyday people, folks who decided to take a closer look at the change in their pockets. Think about that for a moment. How many times have you emptied your pockets at the end of the day and tossed your coins into a jar, assuming they're worthless? What if one of those pennies is worth a small fortune? It's almost ironic that something designed to represent the smallest denomination in our currency could hold life-changing potential. Makes you wonder how many million-dollar coins have already slipped through people's fingers, doesn't it? Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and where you need to pay close attention. There are specific signs that can help you identify whether your 1994 no-mint mark penny might be valuable. First, check the coin's surface. If it retains its original red luster, meaning it's almost copper bright rather than dull brown, you're already ahead. Coins graded as red or red-brown can fetch much higher prices than those labeled brown. Next, look closely at the date and the lettering. Use a magnifying glass if you have to. If you notice any doubling, especially on the year, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust, you might be looking at a double die error. Even the slightest doubling can multiply the coin's value exponentially. Another crucial detail is the condition. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale. A coin graded MS 60 or higher is considered uncirculated, while those reaching MS 67 or MS 68 are nearly flawless. And that's where the magic happens. The difference between an MS 65 and an MS 68 could mean tens of thousands of dollars. Some collectors joke that it's the most expensive microscopic scratch test you'll ever take. But here's a secret most people don't know. The real fortune isn't only in finding a perfect coin, it's in timing. The coin market, like any investment, moves with demand. Right now, vintage Lincoln pennies are experiencing a surge in collector interest, partly due to inflation, partly nostalgia, and partly the thrill of hidden value. Prices for high-grade and rare error pennies have been climbing steadily, and with the current buzz, the market value of these 1994 no-mint mark beauties has reached a stunning $994,000 for select specimens. The window of opportunity is now. Wait too long and the wave might pass. And here's the kicker, you don't need to be a professional to cash in. You just need curiosity and a little patience. Start by going through your old change, or ask family members if they have coin jars that have been sitting untouched for decades. You might be surprised how many rare coins are hiding in plain sight. Some people have literally stumbled upon a fortune while cleaning out a drawer. Imagine being that person, the one who discovers a penny that pays off your mortgage or funds your dream retirement. Of course, not every 1994 penny will make you a millionaire. Most will still be worth 1 cent. But here's the mindset shift that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Every great fortune starts with awareness. The people who win in life are the ones who notice what others overlook. Maybe it's a coin, a business idea, or a moment of opportunity. Wealth always hides in the details. And that's exactly why collectors and investors alike are paying close attention right now. The 1994 no-mint mark penny has become a symbol of hidden wealth, a reminder that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. Just like the story of a man from Pennsylvania who found a rare error penny mixed in with his grocery change, sent it for grading, and ended up selling it for nearly $900,000. He said it felt like finding buried treasure. So what should you do next? Simple, look closer. Check your 1994 pennies, study their details, and if you think you've found something special, don't rush to sell it. Get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They'll determine its condition, rarity, and potential value. And remember, condition is king. The better preserved your coin, the higher its worth. But let's be honest, there's also an emotional thrill here, isn't there? The idea that you could hold history and wealth in the palm of your hand, that your next great investment isn't hidden in a stock portfolio or a digital wallet, but in the simplest piece of metal you've probably ignored your entire life. There's a certain poetic justice in that. As you look through your coins tonight, think of this. That little penny might have witnessed moments in time you can't imagine. It survived decades of circulation, passing through countless hands until it reached yours. Maybe, just maybe, it's your turn to uncover its secret and claim its true value, so don't wait. Take action now. Check your coins, do your research, and who knows, your 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might be the one that changes everything. Because sometimes, wealth doesn't come from chasing what's new. It comes from rediscovering what's been in front of you all along. And in the world of coin collecting, the smallest treasures often tell the richest stories. If you found this inspiring, imagine what else you might be missing in your collection. Subscribe now because the next coin we reveal could be worth even more, and it might just be sitting in your pocket right now.